All right, so question of the day. What do you get when you get Vaders Sabers, the Collector's Outpost, a Graflex, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber? You have yourself an Kenobi Flexoroni flash gun thing. You have yourself the newest collaboration between the Collector's Outpost and Vaders Sabers. So today on the channel, we are talking about the ScrapFlex. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. I am Captain of the Nerd Squadron, and today, yes, we got a brand new box from Vaders Sabers. This is a new collaboration with John, the Collector's Outpost, the ScrapFlex. What is a ScrapFlex? Now, that is normally a combination of a Graflex mixed with a bunch of other parts that's compatible together to create a very unique lightsaber. Now, a ScrapFlex is a lightsaber. I've always wanted it in my collection. I just didn't want to go through the trouble of finding all those parts just so I can have myself a ScrapFlex. So John and Vaders Sabers got together and created their own variation of the ScrapFlex that I finally have in my collection, and it's in this box. But before we get to this box, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for checking me out. My name is Chris. I am Captain of the Nerd Squadron. If you guys are returning viewers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let's get this review started. All right, so here we have the box to the ScrapFlex. Let's go ahead and open it up really quick. And once we open it, we are going to get the ScrapFlex right there in the middle. But before we get to this, let's take a look at all the content you get with your order. Now, we do have here the toolbox. This is going to have your essentials. You're going to have your charger, your hex key, as well as your retention screws to keep that blade secure to the lightsaber. To the right of that, we do have a nice little plaque that says ScrapFlex Origins High-End Collector's Edition. Has Vaders Sabers logo right there, as well as John's, the Collector's Outpost, out there. Now, it's not numbered. I wish it was numbered so I would know what number I got. Very unfortunate, but it's still a really nice plaque. And then just to the left of that, we do have a display stand, and this plaque will fit right in the middle of the display stand when you want to display this lightsaber. Let's take a closer look. Here is the ScrapFlex. It is beautiful. I've always wanted a ScrapFlex in my collection. I'm so happy I finally have one. Now, if you look at this here, it is pretty heavy, and we do have some heat treatment right there on the emitter. Beautifully, beautifully done. And you can just see just how nice this is. Now, like I said, I didn't have any wraps that this came with, but this looks nice even without it. I think they designed it so well to where even if you didn't want to wrap it, it still looks really, really good. Now, I mentioned earlier that what do you get when you get a cross between a Graflex and Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber? You can see here the inspiration for a ScrapFlex. So you can see this section here is going to be a Graflex, and then here are the gold pins as well, and a knob here. And you can see there with the emitters. Now, this does have inspiration with Anakin's from episode 3 as well, because Anakin's is fully connected here for the emitter, and the Graflex, you can see it's hollowed out right there. So that's a difference there, as well as the bunny ears. If you look at the bunny ears, they are different. This is Graflex style. This is more of Anakin's from episode 3. So very cool that we're getting inspiration of Anakin's and the Graflex. Now, we are going to get that little same button here, just two different colors. This is more like a maroon. This is more accurate, but this is more of a red, nice bright red, beautifully, beautifully done. Now, when I mentioned Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber, you can see the neck. Do you see that neck right in there? The neck is beautiful right there. It looks just like Obi-Wan's, obviously just much smaller, so you can see the inspiration there to create a different lightsaber. We do have a control box located right in here. Very reminiscent of Star Killers from the second video game. Not the one he used in the game, but the artwork that was done for the front of the box. That is what it reminds me of. You can see the control box here is much smaller. Here, I like that it's really, really small. Now, the thing that's really cool is going to be right here. Look at that pommel. That pommel is just like Obi-Wan Kenobi's right in there. So it gets that same sync knob look. Now, instead of having a CoverTech wheel, we are going to be getting a D-ring, just like what you would get for a Graflex. So how cool is that? Again, you're getting a variation of different lightsabers in one lightsaber. That's the point of this Graflex. The point of it is to have a bunch of different variations of this lightsaber so that you have one really cool and unique lightsaber. Now, this lightsaber is running a 2-button setup, so we do have the power and the auxiliary here, and it is running a Proffie 2.2. Shout out to Vaders Sabers because I asked for a Proffie. I'm a Proffie guy. I love Proffie, and because this is going to go in my personal collection, I wanted it to run the best board possible. And I did make some changes on there because it's Proffie. You can do that. You can make those changes. So let's go ahead and open up the pommel here so we have access to the chassis. And then we have the chassis here. Nice gold here. I don't know if that's metal. Can't really tell. It feels like maybe like a hard plastic, but it is really, really nice. Right under this gold, you do have some accent LED strips right under there, so they do shine through whenever you turn it on. Right here, you do have the Proffie 2.2 located right in there. And I don't know if you guys can see, right in there is the micro USB. Right in there. Micro USB cards located right there. So you can see here, it's very difficult to get it up. So the best thing that I did was you kind of just grab the board and you just lift. Very, very, very carefully lift that. And then grab some needle nose pliers or needle nose tweezers and you'll grab it and pull it out. I highly recommend you guys only do this just a couple times, know exactly what you want to add on there. I don't trust it. Then again, I don't trust myself, to be honest, and so I don't want that to loosen up and break. Worst case scenario, add some E6000 if anything, but to avoid any of that, just lift it up just a couple times, make those adjustments that you need, and that's going to be it. Now you do have the pins here that will make contact with the NPXL located in there. A kill switch, 2 LED buttons, which you don't need because once you put it in, it's not going to be using these buttons anymore, as well as a USB-C recharge port located right in there, and then the battery with a pull tab, which you won't really need because, again, you do have that charger there. Now we're going to fire this up really quick here. See those lights light up there, and if we just go ahead, let's see, we're going to do it wrong. General Kenobi. You guys can probably see there the lights located right under there. So they do react every single time you clash, and this light here does stay on. Now to put the chassis back in the lightsaber, it's very, very easy. Go ahead and take the Proffie board, and we'll line that up with this clamp card here. Line that all the way up. It's only going to go one way. It's not going to spin on you. It's only going to go one way. Now after putting it all the way through, you're going to see these lights light up perfectly right there. So here again, auxiliary or your activation. Boom, just like that. Works beautifully. And you can see those NPXLs right there are lighting up beautifully. Now you're gonna notice that there are those pins in there. That's gonna make connection to the blade. Do not touch those pins. The last thing you wanna do is break any of those pins. Now, to keep that safe in the box, you are gonna be getting a blade plug, just like this. This blade plug is gonna go right inside, so when you're not using it, it's nice and safe. Now, this is a Graflex style saber, and it's only fair to have a Graflex blade plug. So I'll leave a link down below in case you guys are looking for a Graflex style blade plug. This is gonna be more for a Graflex. So if I throw this right in here, you can see that looks so much better. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. There's no contact there. This is gonna be a NeoPixel style. This I got a long time ago, but you can see just how nice that looks. Now, I think one little mistake on this lightsaber that could have been perfect to make this 100% perfect. Here are the retention screws for the blade. You can see they definitely pop out. I think one missed opportunity that TXQ did not think of is making this the retention screw. Now, my Graflex has that same button, but that is the retention screw. So this here is what locks down that blade. Now, this lightsaber is running a Proffie 2.2, and there are two different people who configure a Proffie board. It's SA22C and FET263, two different configurations for the board, but I personally like the FET263 style. So I went ahead and went into the configuration file, and I changed out everything I needed to make this work for my liking. Now, if for any reason on your SD card that the config file is not located on there, just go ahead and reach out to Vaders Sabers, let them know you didn't have a config file. He'll send that right over. So let's go ahead and throw a blade on this bad boy and show off all the fonts as well as some of the adjustments that I made. There we have the ScrapFlex. Beautiful. Now this is gonna be the standard config or whatever. I made a couple of changes. Now, one thing I really wanted to do was the first font was a Maw font, and it was just a standard red ignition. So I did find this ignition here to where it's a static, and it goes really, really well with this. You can hear the hesitation of the ignition, which that blade goes very, very well with. And again, this is only possible if you make those changes to the config. So you can see there's going to be a bit of a static. And then there's that white. It's kind of hard to see it in this camera. So if I move her on this side, you will see the white as well. So there you see the white in this camera here. It's much easier to see on this one here, but it does work very, very well. Now in the original config, you had to hold the aux and then clash, but because I made those changes, now all I have to do is hold the auxiliary button. Very, very nice and very convenient making those changes. Beautiful. And then this does have multi-block. So I don't have to press the auxiliary button when I swing. Very, very nice and very convenient thing to have. This is definitely a Graflex, a New Hope style. Now, one thing that's really nice with making these adjustments, I did update it, and so we have a more easier way of navigating through setting mode in case you want to change the blade style or if you want to change the length of the blade. So if I just hold aux and power, you can probably hear the voice.
Edit brightness.
There we are.
Edit volume. Edit control settings. Edit clash thresholds. Edit blade length.
Every rotation changes
Edit brightness.
parts of the settings that you want to go to.
Edit volume. Edit control settings. Edit clash thresholds. Exit.
You can see just how easy that is. Using the common files from FET263 works extremely, extremely well.
Chimere?
Of course, I had to add my boy on there. Now I added a unstable blade for some stupid reason. I kind of wanted it to stay unstable. And you can hear this one, because it's not a stock font, it sounds beautiful. This is all courtesy of Kyberphonic. So if you guys are looking for more of his fonts, I'll leave a link down below in case you're looking for more Kyberphonic fonts. Now, a couple things that I added to the config is when you want to use melt against a wall, normally you have to hold the auxiliary button and poke it against the wall. But because I made those changes, you see here the tip is lit up right in there just by touching the wall. Same thing with drag. If I want to do drag, point it down. Same thing, we have drag. So you don't need to press those buttons. I made those changes. I'll leave a config file ready in case Vaders Sabers wants those to give to you guys in case he is interested. Now, the final font I added on here is very special. It does have to do a lot of the coding within Proffie. If this is your first time programming Proffie, I do not recommend this being the first one you try, but this is definitely something worth having. If you guys are fans of the Acolyte, you might like what I did here. So this is OSHA. Now you can see it is a blue blade that OSHA used on the final episode. You can hear the font, you can hear the hum, the swings, right? This is very important to realize and hear these fonts. You can hear it. Now, in the final episode of the Acolyte, we saw OSHA change her blade to red, that corruption that she did of the Kyber crystal. She made it bleed. We can do that with Proffie. So all we need to do here is go ahead and take the power button, hold it, and we're gonna rotate it a quarter of the way. So hold, turn. And you can see here, it's changing from blue to red. And with that, we have a whole different sound font now. It changed to a darker version of OSHA because she made that Kyber crystal bleed. You can hear it. it's a much different hum, a much different swing. It's darker. And it still works just like the other font. Now, let's just say you want to go back to blue. Easy. Same exact thing. Hold that power button, rotate it, and now you can see we are going back to blue with that corruption effect from the Proffie board. Now we've gone back to that light font. And now you're back to using a Jedi style lightsaber. This is all available on Fet263's website. Again, if you guys are familiar with Proffie, that is something you can do with the Proffie board. Now, if you guys are interested in the ScrapFlex from Vaders Sabers and the collector's outpost, I will leave a link down in the description down below, as well as a discount code in case you guys are interested. I'm telling you, you guys get yourself a ScrapFlex, you will love it very, very much. Just as much as I do, because not one is it just very, very cool, but it is one lightsaber I've wanted in my collection for a very, very long time. All right, you guys, this is going to cover my review of the Vaders Sabers and Collector's Outpost ScrapFlex. I am so happy to finally have a ScrapFlex in my collection. I've wanted one for years, and I'm so glad that they made this collaboration together once again to give us a ScrapFlex. So thank you, John. Thank you, Vaders Sabers, for creating this ScrapFlex. Now, Vaders Sabers does have this available on their website right now. You can either get it as empty hilt, in-hilt RGB, SNV4 Pro, or in a Proffie board. Now, keep in mind, everyone, if you guys are getting a Proffie board, please make sure you guys are knowledgeable in Proffie, because there's a lot of things in Proffie, especially if you want to make changes to the config. It's very important you know how to use it. Educate yourself prior to getting Proffie, because it can get very frustrating. Now, in order to really take advantage of the Proffie board, you have to learn how to code and understand the config and how to make these changes. It will get frustrating, I promise you it will, but once you get it, it gets much easier. I've decided I will do a Proffie tutorial using the ScrapFlex here in the near future. That way I can help you guys out in case you guys have any questions. All right, you guys, if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And if you guys are returning viewers, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And of course, thank you so much, Vaders Sabers, for sending me out this ScrapFlex for me to review. I love this thing, and I cannot wait to go outside and swing it around right when the sun goes down. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you.